What's going on, everybody? Today we are going to be learning how to switch your guitar strings. Before you watch this video, you might want to watch my other video saying when to switch out your guitar strings. It might give you a better insight of how long to have them on before you do a switch of your guitar strings. But if you know you're ready to switch them out, let's go ahead and get started and start switching out your guitar strings. Okay, first things first. The things you need to have are your guitar strings of your choice. You want to have a tuner. It could be like a tuning fork. It could be a tuner off your phone, anything like that. You want to have a little winder, string winder. You know that saves your wrist a lot of trouble, you know, as far as just continually winding every string up and every string down. And some wire cutters. As far as for what you want to put your guitar on, I'm using a towel on just a little, kind of like one of those little eating tray type tables. I prefer to use my kitchen table, but it's too far, too many things to move around. So I'm using this, and it's not bad. I also prefer to stand up. I'm shooting this right now sitting down, but I'm going to stand up for this video. It's just you're a little bit more freer to move and everything like that. So I'm going to get the best angles I can and show you how to do this. So let's go ahead and go. Okay, now the first thing you want to do is understand that you only want to take one string off at a time. You take your 6th string off, 5th string, 4th string, 3rd string, 2nd string, 1st string off one at a time, and you take them off in that order from 6 to 1. Okay, it's just better for the guitar. You don't get the strings confused as you're putting new strings on, and you keep everything in order. So what we're going to do first is let's distinguish, well, which one's your 6th string. Okay, if you're holding your guitar like this, your 6th string is the thickest one, and it's going to go in a U shape. Okay, so it's going to go 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now, not all guitars work like that. Sometimes on the strings, the guitars are all on one side. In that case, the thickest string is the 6, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And the 6 is always going to be the one closest to you, towards the ceiling, closest to your body. So this is always your 6, 5, 4. Then you go in U-shape 3, 2, and 1. Okay, so with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and grab my winder. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to unwind my 6th string. And notice the way it's winding. Okay, when I pull it towards me, when I wind towards me this way, I'm putting more tension on the string. Now when I wind away from me like this, I'm putting less tension, and you can see how that string's really wobbly now. Okay, that means I'm taking it off. Okay, you want to remember which way the strings are going on the where the 6, 5, and 4 strings are on, and then for the 3, 2, and 1 are on, they're exact opposite. It's away from you to add tension, and towards you to release tension, just like this. See, away from me on this side is going to be tension. Towards me is less tension. On this side, this one, towards me tension. Away from me, less tension. Okay, so with that being said, let's go ahead and now take that 6th string off, make it completely loose on this side, and then go ahead and just be careful. Don't prick yourself on it. Go ahead and just release it from the top part of the 6th string. Okay. Now, I like to use needle nose pliers to take out these pegs from right here. We got 6 pegs, 1 for each string, and I'm going to go ahead, just so you can do this and practice it on your own, I'm going to grab something. And what I grabbed is something just in case I slip and I don't scratch my guitar. Now, I don't mind if this guitar gets scratches, but some people would mind, so that's how I'm going to teach it. I have scratched guitars before. It sucks, but it happens, you know. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of wiggle this thing for a little bit, and then boom, it should come out automatically. I'm just taking out this little black peg. I don't know if you can kind of see it, but that's how it looks right there. And I'm going to take out one at a time, and then that string, bam, should pop right out from there. Okay, now the 6th string is completely off. What you can do is you can roll it up. Okay, what you're going to do, you can just take 2 sides like this, cross them, take one side, put it under, and just kind of loop it a couple times. Just so you don't have all the strings everywhere. Do that with the other side as well. And it's nice, it's out of the way. You can make a bracelet with it, whatever you want. You can do stuff with it. I've seen people do this. I was talking to a man recently in a band who was selling the merch for people, and he was telling me that you can't get rid of this. It's not biodegradable, you know, it just keeps adding up. So what they did with their band is they made necklaces out of them, and they resell them, or they give away their bass strings. A band called Helmet. I don't know if you can see it. Oh, I almost slipped, but this is Helmet. I went to their show just recently, and it was a great show. Anyways, okay, I prefer to use Elixir Polyweb. These are awesome strings. They last for a long time. And I use the light version, which is gauge 12 to 53. 53 meaning that it's going to be the thickest string on this guitar. So they come in order of, depending on the string, sometimes on the back they'll tell you the order. First string, second string, third string, so on and so forth. But sometimes they're color-coded, things like that. But in this case, they're not color-coded, but they do come in individual packaging. And it comes right out like that. And now with these strings, when you get them, they come with a little Polyweb film on them. And I really like these strings. But what I like to do is I put a little kink in the string before I drop it into the bridge. Okay, now the kind of kink you put is, you're going to kind of put it, like if this is, let's say if my arm, okay, if my arm is the string, you have this little ball at the top of the string. I'm going to get a little close, and I might have to lose the focus for a little bit. Okay, let's see. Got this little ball right here, okay? Now this little ball, what I like to do is I kink it before I put in the string, before I put in the guitar. Why? Because it's going to create that bend anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and do that bend already, okay? So what I like to do is, you don't want to put it on this side. You want to put it where it's that flat, fat side, and you're going to have your finger right here and just create a little tension, okay? Now notice I kind of created a little L. You don't want to make a U, or you don't want to do it too far, and you want to do it just right there, okay? You don't want to do it, let's say here, okay? Here. You don't want to do it here. You want to do it right there, okay? Now once you do that, let me get the focus back. Let me see. There's my hand. Okay. Now once you do that, what you're going to do is you're going to take this ball end. You're going to drop that in. You're going to take that ball end. And it has a little slot. And you'll know the slot because it's only on one side of this little peg that you put into the guitar. The slot is we're going to line up with that, the top of the ball end. And then you're going to push both down. Oop, you're going to, my bad. What you're going to do is, here's the slot. Here's that little L I created. Here's the slot of the peg. You're going to put on top and you're going to push it down into the guitar. Okay, so here's that little L. I'm not going to push it into the guitar yet. Here's that slot. I'm going to line the slot up with the peg, or the slot up with the string, I should say. I'm going to push down till that peg locks in there. It should be pretty tight. Then I'm going to come around over here and I'm going to tighten it. Now for this part of the video, I'm going to have to get a closer shot, so I'm going to change angles real quick. Okay, now on the guitar head, once you slot that peg in there, okay, what you're going to do is you got to align this little worm gear right here, the little topper that turns the machine head tuner. You got to align it where it's facing you have two holes. You got to align it where it's going like this instead of towards the guitar strings. You got to align it like, let's say if the strings are the top, the down part, when you draw a T, you draw the down stem first, and then this little hole is where you cross the top of the T. Well, if you notice on this camera, I'm going to go ahead and bring that hole right there. Now notice, like I said, it's kind of like this, okay? That hole right here, and then the string goes this way. Okay, so what you're going to do now is you're going to take this guitar string and you're going to go from the inside of that hole and you're going to bring it outward. Okay, then what you're going to do is you're going to hold it with 3 fingers, and you're going to go ahead and put your 3 fingers around where the nut is, that white piece right here, and you're going to go and pull on that guitar string, okay, until it comes in there, and make sure that hole is straight, and it should hold itself, okay? You don't want it too tight, okay? You know, just a little tension, just like that. And now what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and just start turning, and make sure you can check which way to turn to create tension by checking these other 2 on the same side, and make sure it's turning the same way. So I'm going to check with the 5th. Remember, by turning towards me, I'm creating more tension, and turning away from me, I'm creating less tension. So I want this string to do the same thing. You're going to notice right when you start turning, though, that this little arm might want to go under the string, okay? You want to make sure to keep this axis part that we're going to cut off, that went through the other side of that hole. You want to keep it up. So what I do is I put a little kink on top once I put a little tension. Okay, then, oh, notice how wiggly it gets, okay? If you let it go, if you let it do what it wants, it's going to do what it wants. Okay, so now, the idea is you keep turning, and placing that string in the respectable slot that it has. It has this little gauge, or this little etched out part, or this little part where it's the string goes. Okay, so you're going to put it into there. Okay, so once again, now you're going to keep turning. You're going to keep turning towards you because that's where the string's supposed to go. And you're going to start noticing, you're going to start getting these little the wire, where the fret wire is going to start aligning. Notice that now I got these two little rows of fret wire. Okay, now you're going to keep turning. Now notice I have one finger still holding it up. Now before I had three, I'm going to actually rewind it so you see what I'm doing. I had three fingers under, pinky under the neck. That's how I'm holding with grip. Okay, and as the string is tightening, I'm just letting the tension take over, and I'm moving my fingers out of the way. And once it gets enough tension, it's going to start tuning itself up. Now, that's where your tuning fork or whatever you got comes in handy, okay? So now, I know what the sound is. I know you can't hear it. So, if you have a tuner, if you know how to tune, you're going to want to put it in tune right there. And then with the part that's access, you can cut it off. Just like that. And now we're going to repeat 5 more times. Okay, we just finished the 6th string, and what I already did off video is I changed the 5th string and the 4th string, and I did it exactly the same way. So, for those, watch the video over again, at least for the beginning part, and switch out those strings because they're all on the same side of the guitar. Once again, the way you'll know is this is my 6, my 5, and my 4. Now the next part of the video is going to change because the 3, 2, and 1 strings are on the opposite end. If they're all on the same side, you can pretty much get away with watching the first part of the video and they'll all follow the same process. But if they're on the bottom end of the guitar like this, or towards the floor, this is the part of the video you need to watch for the 3rd string, 2nd string, and 1st string. So let's go ahead and get started with that. So now we're heading towards the 3rd string. Remember, on my guitar, the 3rd string, 2nd string, and 1st string are on the bottom part of the guitar. So now what you're going to do is the same thing we've done before on the 6, 5, and 4, but you're going to actually notice that it's opposite of the way you turn it, the tension. Okay, on the 6th string, notice when I turn away from my body, I lose tension, and when I turn towards my body, I gain tension, meaning it goes higher and lower depending which way you turn. On the 3rd, 2nd, and 1st string, it's exact opposite. Okay, and that's what you want to pay attention to. When I turn towards my body, I lose tension. Okay, now I don't know if you like sitting the way I am when taking your strings up, but sometimes they pop. It might hit you in the chest, something like that. Just man up, okay? And deal with it. I'm just kidding. No, you know, they don't really usually pop as you're taking them off. Sometimes they do, but they don't really hit you in the eye or anything. But if it does, sorry, just be aware of that. Don't freak out, you know. It could happen though. Okay, so I'm taking this completely off. And once again, I'm taking it off from the top piece first, and careful, don't really just pull in it. You want to be very gentle about how you take off the string, because you can poke yourself taking them off. And I've done that. I actually poked myself grabbing my guitar trying to explain something into the camera on a part of this video, and I was like, darn it, I did it again. Okay, so once that happens, once you take it off from the top end, the 3rd string, remember, you have something just so you don't scratch at this part. You're going to take off that peg again like we've done before. Here's that peg. Remember, it's got that little slot. We're going to deal with that in a moment. Notice how that guitar string has that little, I don't know if you can see it, but you can see it on my shirt. It has a little kink on it. Okay, so once again, just to be cool, you can wrap it. It actually makes it easier when disposing of this too as well. They're just not poking holes in your trash, your plastic bag or anything like that, okay? So once that's done, we could just put it over there for now. Okay, I have my string. I already know which one it is. I made sure on the box it said, in my case, 0.24 is my 3rd string. So now I'm going to go ahead and just take this apart. Okay, so I'm going to take this away. Now, once again, I'm going to put that little kink in. Remember, it's the ball end. Remember, you have that little fat side. You're going to just kind of hold it. If I can get it right. Okay, you're going to hold it, and I like to turn away from me. And I put my finger right under where I'm making that kink, okay? So I'm going to make it a little bit of an L now. Okay? And then now I'm going to put this part into the guitar. And remember, that little kink that you made, you're putting towards the head. Okay, you want that tension to go that way. You don't want to make the L go this way and then you pull it back that way, because after a while, if you just do this to the wire of the string, it's just going to break off. So you want to, whichever way you put that kink is, you want that to go towards the head of the guitar. Okay, you're going to drop that in its slot. Okay, it's nice and tight. Then once again, you're going to come up over here and you're going to align that little hole like we had talked about that's on the top of the head, the machine head tuner or the tuner, whatever you want to call it. You're going to take now, before what we did is for the 6th, 5th, and 4th string, darn it, I can't grab that string. You took the string and you went from the inside to the right side, okay, towards the ears. Okay, now what you're going to do is the opposite end. You're going to take this now, and notice I even switched hands. I was going this way, now I'm going that way. So I'm going to take it, and from the inside of the headstock, in the inside of that hole, you're going to push it outward this way, okay? Make sure that hole is nice and straight in order to do that. Now I'm going to be holding the guitar with my right hand and turning it to wind it up with my left. Okay, now with this side though, now notice if it's not tight enough or if you didn't have that hole properly set like I did, I guess you could say, you just want to turn it a little bit, get it straight. Now what we're going to do is once again have 3 fingers on top, pinky on the bottom for control. I'm going to stand up to show you this. I like to hold it with my stomach. You know, if you have a little bit of a beer gut or you like food or whatever, you can do that with this part. Okay, so I'm just holding the guitar now like this. And now you want this side to have coils, okay? When this starts to wrap around this earpiece, you know, the machine head part, you want it to create coils. Now this coils, you want it to be flush. You don't want one to overlap on another or anything. Now you gotta also remember, you're turning opposite now. Away from you is tightening. Compared to this side, it was loosening. So you gotta keep that in mind. And also the way to check with your other strings on the same side. Towards me is flattening, away from me is tightening or sharpening. So I know going away from me is going to tighten. So I'm going to go ahead and switch to 2 fingers or 1 finger on top so you can see this. I'm going to take this part that I'm going to cut off and I'm going to bend it up just a little bit after I tighten it a little. And then that'll help me keep those coils winding in order, okay? Now you just keep a little bit of a firm grip on the string when you're tightening, okay? You don't want to pull on the string and create unnecessary bends because then you're just going to break the string, okay? So you kind of have to get used to letting it do its thing. And sometimes I get a little closer on the headstock to get a better grip as it's going through my fingers, you know. You don't grip it and pull on it. You just let it go through your fingers freely. Okay, now I'm noticing that this little peg over here is coming a little loose, so I'm going to just kind of push it down a little bit. And then I'm going to come back over here and keep tightening. Remember, away from you is the tightening on the last 3. And making sure these coils are wrapping up. If they're not wrapping up perfect, you can kind of push them up, and that'll help keep them in line. And you make sure to keep them going under each other, one after another. Once it starts to get tight, you have to make sure that that 3rd string, or whatever string you're using, falls into its slot. Whoop! Falls into its slot. And once it creates enough tension, it'll stay in its slot. And you might get the look. It's just the string settling in its place. And then you get your tuner out, and then you tune it up. I'm kind of good with my ear, so I'm tuning by ear. I've done this just so many times over the years that I just know how the notes sound. And remember, they're going to go out of tune after a little bit because they're new strings, okay? And that's it for this one. And then what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and just cut that excess part off. And that's it. I just finished the 2nd and 1st string for as far as changing the strings out. Okay, so if you need to rewatch the 3rd string for the first 2 strings, rewatch it. If you need the 5th and 4th string, rewatch that 6th string, the one that I did in the beginning. Okay, they both are similar, but they have slight differences. Okay, so the last thing I want to talk about before I let you go is coil windings. Okay, now I called them fret wire earlier, but the coil windings are how many times you wind the string around this piece of worm gear right here. Okay, on the 6, 5, and 4 strings, they're thicker, so I like to only give them 2 to 3. But on the 3, 2, and 1 strings, I like to give them 3 to 4. Okay, now sometimes if you give them 2 to 3 as well on that side, it's fine, but you don't want to give it just like you put the string in there, you give it as much, you don't give it any finger length, and you just pull it through and tighten it up, and then you put it in the tuning it needs to be in, and it only gets 1 coil winding or half a coil winding. You know, some people I've seen do that and it works for them, but it's better and it's safer for the life of the string, or you might even kill the string right on the spot by doing that. It's better for the string overall to give them 2 to 3 to 4, depending where you are or what string you're on, windings, because it's the life of the string. Remember, it needs to breathe. Okay, so by giving them enough windings, you're giving the strings life. You're not killing the strings as you put them on, in other words. Okay, so thank you for watching, and keep in mind that this applies for electric guitar. The electric guitars usually have 6 strings on one side, so they're all going to go the same way. So you'll only need to watch the 6th string on how to put the 6th string on, okay? But sometimes the electric guitars have strings on both sides, 6, 5, and 4 on one side, 3, 2, and 1 on another. Then you'll follow this process that I did with this acoustic. Now, if you have questions or anything, you can always write me an email. I'm going to make a follow-up video if needed. For if I get the same questions asked, I'm going to go ahead and put that follow-up video on my website if needed, like I said. But you can find this on YouTube and my website. Please check out my website at mountainsideguitar.com. I do offer guitar lessons. And thank you for watching. And I'll make another video on how to tune the guitar and how to maintain guitars, things like that. But for today, you just learned how to put your guitar strings on.